Texture baking is the process of creating texture maps to the objects in the scene. Those maps contain material information, light and shadow, alpha, or transparency information. Basically, all the information that is calculated in the rendering process is stored in those maps. This is a model of a phone, and before we proceed with the texture baking, we need to make sure that the render result is within the scope of quality that we seek. From the Render menu, select Real-Time Rendering or press F4 on your keyboard. Since we are satisfied with the render, we can move to Texture Baking. Click on the Workbench's icon and select Texture Baking to gain access to the Texture Baking tools. The first menu in the Texture Baking workbench offers you the ability to use the Smart Baking System, which is a tool that uses advanced calculations and algorithms that negate the effect of having a flipped object's normal. While conventional texture baking software requires all the face normals to be displayed properly for the baking process to work out, SimLab Composer's Smart Baking offers you a smart solution to bypass that demanding step. The second tool is Object Baking, which is similar to the traditional baking and will produce texture maps according to the face normals of the object. From the Baking Tools menu, you can clean the model of any baked textures. You can also break the objects to faces or to geometries and merge them according to their materials, which are helpful tools that optimize the model prior to the baking process. Flip normals will reverse the face normals of an object in case the user wants to manually control the object's normals. The Info tool displays important information such as the number of selected objects and the number of vertices and polygons in a model. The Show Baked option will switch the view between the regular model and the texture baked model. Select the objects you intend to bake, or the main group in the objects tree if you intend to bake all the geometries in the scene, and from the Baking Tools menu, select Info. The number of objects in this scene is 52, which means that texture baking will produce 52 texture maps for this model, which could be a little excessive. Select Merge on Materials from the Baking Tools menu. Merge on Materials will merge any objects sharing the same material into one. Going back to the Objects Info, you can see that the number of objects has dropped from 52 to 15, which is a reasonable number of maps to have for this model. With the model selected, click on Smart Bake. In the Texture Size section of the Smart Baking settings, you can set the minimum and maximum resolution for the baked textures. Where the minimum resolution will be automatically assigned to small objects, while the maximum resolution will be assigned to the large objects in case you are baking several objects at the same time. The Samples per Pixel options controls the quality of the texture baking. The dynamic update controls at which rate should the texture baking results appear during the baking process. So, if it is set to a 150 sample per pixel for example, it means that every 150 SPP that SimLab Composer calculates, the texture will be updated and can be seen in the 3D area instantly. And it will continue to do so until the samples per pixel total number is reached and the process is complete. The Geometry Processing is an advanced calculations tool that resolves any stretching issue with the texture. In most cases, the Fast option would not cause any stretching, but in very rare cases the complexity of the model's design might demand the use of top quality to eliminate any distortion in the baked texture. Optimize Baking Time can divide a single object to multiple objects, each with a unique texture map assigned to it. According to the number of polygons it has, this option is mostly used to create high-quality texture maps to proportionally large objects without the need to increase the resolution of the maps dramatically. Click OK to start the texture baking process, and notice how the 3D area is being updated with baked texture as the operation is progressing. Toggle the Show Baked option on and off to switch between the texture baked model and the regular model. SimLab Composer's texture baking is a unique and easy feature that mimics the behavior of a rendered model while maintaining the ability to navigate the scene in a 3D environment. It enhances the appearance of the model and allows you to share it as a 3D PDF or a WebGL document without losing its elegance.